had said came to fruition. And so on the plane ride going back to Michigan State, I knew I was leaving. I was ready, mentally, physically, to turn pro. We did a lot of things in college that I thought maybe would take 4 years, and it happened in 2. So I guess I got to go on to the next step and let's see what I can do in the NBA. You know, I'm giving up a lot. You know, college is giving up. You know, the students. You know, the 10th. To have a lot of fun, just a lot of things, you know.
He went on to win the NCAA, and then, you know, the very next year he opted to go to California. So I was determined to finish school and get out of here and start a new life.
On the eve of his very first game, I want you to know that this man has a smile that lights up a television screen from here to Bangor, Maine.
I got butterflies in my stomach. I'm just trying to make sure I can settle myself down.
So you're watching the debut of Magic Johnson with the Los Angeles Lakers, and Magic Johnson missing one underneath. Loose ball, tangle of bodies. Johnson comes free, and he travels. I can hear some basketball fans right now. They're saying, see, Magic Johnson can't play defense in the NBA.
About the second quarter, so I did settle down.
Intercepted by Magic, and here he comes from behind the back of fake. Oh, the pass, here we go. Johnson back to Kareem. So it has come down to this. Ford sends it to Kareem. Sky going up. Yeah, Lakers win. Score. Kareem up, goes it up.
Magic starts running and jumping, and we're all happy and stuff, but we're happy because we won the game. Magic is happy because he could see it. He saw the making of a championship team.
I get in the locker room, Kareem say, "Rookie, don't ever do that again."
We got 81 more games. You know, if we get up to this emotional level every time we win, you know, we'll be wasted by Christmas time.
He pointed at me, so I pointed at him. If you ever hit a shot like that 81 more times, I'm going to jump in your arm 81 more times.
And all of a sudden we started to win.
Someone that has captured the imagination of the country is this man, the Magic Man, Mr. Johnson.
He made it possible for me to change my image, and that we started winning. You know, I could start smiling. He was exactly the player that we needed.
Cool is out. Enthusiasm is in. And isn't it refreshing?
These guys can't do it, brother. We're sort of a live group of guys, you know.
They didn't have a t-shirt on. I'm not going to give them stuff serious.
When the Lakers started winning, it united the city of Los Angeles. So everybody felt like he was their hero.
I fell in love with Magic Johnson, and you know what he did on the court, the charisma he had out with his media in public.
Not only Black America,
Young black kids, like teenagers, fall in love with Magic Johnson. But wait a minute, it's falling in love with Magic Johnson. Falling in love and looking up to and feeling inspired by a black male, it was almost unheard of.
The phone was in the room. I grew up 14 blocks away. We got no tickets, so we got to figure out a way to sneak in. We were able to run down the tunnel and run past the guards, get into the corner and just kind of take seats. I've never seen nothing like that. I've never seen anybody 6'9" that was bringing the ball up the court, controlling the tempo, directing the offense.
And nobody played the game like he played it. He was an oxymoron. He could play any position. He was a 6'9" player. And there wasn't one around.
Irv's gonna make a fantastic no-look pass. Look this way, ball goes that way. Behind the back.
I'm no looking to everybody, right? Through the legs, behind the back. Oh, man. And that crowd would just go crazy.
Magic had swagger. Magic was cool. He played with such joy, enthusiasm. He was my favorite player. The Lakers became my favorite team. People looked up to him. People admired him from both sides. People wanted to be him.
Everybody knows that Magic, the happy guy, the fun smiles. I think they might think that nothing ever goes wrong. He has no problem. He can smile every day and everything. And but I do have a little point. And Erwin Johnson is another guy. Here's Magic over here and here's Irvin over here.
During the first year, I was definitely homesick. So my phone bill was extremely high.
People call us all the time. Just about every day, every other day.
I've never been without my family. My father and my mother always been at my games. Always still only 15, 20 minutes away from the college so I could go home and get a home-cooked meal. I can't do that anymore. I can't go get a hug from my mother anymore or just advice from my father face-to-face anymore.
Here is the rookie sensation, Irvin Magic Johnson. That's tough when you play away from home, isn't it?
Definitely.
Not hearing the home crowd screaming for you.
The farm was in Englewood. Irvin lived close to Englewood. He lived sort of an insulated life. He would go home and go to this little 2-bedroom apartment.
I stayed in my apartment all the time because I was scared. I was still scared of LA because LA was so big.
How's the social life back then? Well, I know you work hard, but there's playtime.
Pretty hard. There's playtime.
I was very much a guy who was guarded, and Norm Nixon told me to watch out for people. Everybody was trying to get to know, the athletes, and so I said, okay.
You have to learn so much. And you have to find out how do people feel. Do they want to? Can you go out and just forget about ball? It's really hard. It's really hard.
Good luck to you and the Los Angeles Lakers. Thanks for being with us tonight. Irvin Magic Johnson.
Here was this fresh young man from Michigan, and he couldn't trust me. But that first year in Los Angeles, Jerry Buss bought the team.
In 1979, Dr. Jerry Buss's dreams of sports ownership became reality when he spent a record $67.5 million on the LA Lakers, the LA Kings, and their lucrative venue, the LA Forum.
He knew I was a long way from home, and he said, hey, young man, when we get back from training camp, one Saturday I want you to come and we're going to stand on the sideline of a USC game. Once we went to the first USC football game, that's when we started really hanging out. We started having lunch and dinners after the Laker games. He would say, meet him at this restaurant, so I would go meet him there, and we would break bread together, talk. And then he just started saying, hey, come on over to the house. You have the gate pad number. You can come anytime you want. And so I started going over there all the time. We played pool at his house for hours. And he sort of filled the void.
I took him aside and I talked with him and I said, will you please look out after my baby for me? Dr. Buss said, Mrs. Johnson, he said, I will take care of it. I felt more comfortable, you know, knowing that he had someone that he could talk to, someone that would, you know, take care of him.
Well, it became extremely close. He was like Jerry Serget's son. He was ample. He was for sure.
The Suns took it easy. They had the layup, and Magic Johnson just refused to give up. Comes back inside, catches the layup.
Charisma, that's what the young fella's got. He's had an excellent rookie season.
Los Angeles Lakers are the new champions of the Western Conference as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar pours in 38 points. Magic Johnson adds 20.
I'm going crazy. Like, I just won the NCAA championship the year before, and now I'm actually going to the NBA Finals my rookie season. Oh,
It's been 8 seasons since the NBA championship has been a part of the LA sports scene. The style of the Lakers has always been to make the playoffs, but somehow fold in or before the finals.
We just kept pumping each other. We gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. Well, earlier that week, the voting for the Rookie of the Year came out.
I thought it would be close. It wasn't close. I was shocked.
you know, when I learned that Larry Bird had won by a wide margin, I didn't like it. Everybody always said about me my first year, oh, he can pass, he can run the team, but Larry Bird is a much better scorer. I was sitting there saying to myself, I can score, but that's not my role. I didn't like hearing that all the time, you know. And so you got me fired up going into the NBA Finals.
Philadelphia beat the Boston Celtics 4 out of 5. Julius Erving carried the load. He averaged 25 a game. The doctor certainly will be the man they'll have to go to.
They had a real good team. Dr. J, we had Chocolate Thunder, Joe Dawkins.
Now, I was a Philadelphia 76ers fan. I had a Dr. J poster on my wall. I was supposed to Philly. Actually, I was a Dr. J fan. We all wanted him to win a championship, but now I guess not.
It was a back and forth, up and down series.
We knew we had our hands full with Philadelphia, but the one thing that was going in our favor was nobody in the league could stop Kareem. We were just unstoppable.
I spoke to the team. I told them, listen, I'm going to be ready to do my job.
And so in Game 5 at the Forum, it was nip and tuck.
A 2-2 series, this is a big game because we can go up 3-2.
Kareem's hurt. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is injured. There's no question about it.
In the middle of the third quarter, Kareem ends up spraining his ankle. And we're closing out the game. We're up 3-2 now.
It was catastrophic. Kareem was our captain, and he was always there, constant professional, whether he was had a migraine or not. We were all hopeful. If there was any way he could play, he would play. We knew that.
The next morning, we're flying to Philly. We get to the airport, and they said, man, did you hear the news? I said, what news?
Our doctors let us know that he was injured enough that he wasn't going to play Game 6. We don't have the greatest score in the history of the game with us.
How are we going to beat Philadelphia without Kareem? Everybody's sitting there, and you could tell there was a lot of tension. And everybody was kind of like nervous, and nobody was talking with the strings.
How we going to do this without our captain? And he's how you going to make the trip? No, it's really bad.
They was all frustrated and disappointed that he couldn't play. So I said, I got to do something.
Kareem used to get seat 1A. There's only one person who ever sat in 1A.
Kareem was sitting in the first row, but Magic and I was sitting in the second row. So I'm in the second row, and Magic sits in Kareem's seat.
And he just turned around and looked at everybody
and goes,
Have no fear. Irvin Magic Johnson is here.
I'm about to show you and everybody on this team what type of game I've got.
Tonight it'll be game number 6. The Lakers against the 76ers. The Lakers going without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, still in Los Angeles, taking treatment for that sprained ankle.
I told Coach Westhead, I said, let me play center. They're not going to know what's going to come at them.
He said, I played center in high school, which was only like 2 years ago.
He's going to play smack dab in the middle right from the start. He is our offensive center. The big one tonight, game 6. Lakers can win it all, or we go to a 7th game at the Forum on Sunday.
You are looking live at the sold-out crowd at the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
I think that Magic's going to do. I'll tell you this, Philadelphia's going to have a hard time defensively, and who's going to guard who?
I talked to my father the night before, and I told him, Dad, I'm going to just go out here and play like I did in high school. And he said, all right, well, go do your thing.
Two quick assists and a field goal, and Magic Johnson drives the Lakers to a 6-point lead.
He was making everybody on the team better. Jamal Wilkes had a career high 37.
Magic comes inside, dishes, watch Wilkes, beautiful play. This is the first basketball game I've ever seen Magic play. Championship within reach. Whip it inside to Magic. Big man. There it is, it's over, and the most valuable player is Magic Johnson.
42, 15, and 7, the greatest performance as far as I'm concerned in NBA Finals history.
We don't have to wonder about who he is anymore, or his value to the team. We know that now.
And I just think, man, this dude, Irvin Johnson, he's going to be the greatest player of all time.
And here's the man of the hour, Magic Johnson. Magic, there's a lot of ball players around who haven't made it this far in a long career. This is your first year and you're here. How many more of these would you like to get under your belt?
About 20.
And I want to present the World Trophy to the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers, Jerry Buss. It's yours.
For my dad, it was overwhelming to him. It was, I think his proudest moment.
I'm excited. I'm just happy for everybody. Everybody
involved in what you
the world champion, would you believe it? A world champion. It's just unbelievable.
Jerry Buss and I hugged each other and said, can you believe it? In our first year together, we win the NBA championship. Oh.
They shared that moment, and that was intoxicating for both of them because a star was born.
When we got home and the plane landed, Kareem, the big fella, got on the plane with his cowboy hat.
You need to wait for your boss. Yeah, everything wasting on the ladies, all the...
I'm afraid that you might lose your job for next year.
Well, if I lose my job, I can always play guard with just stay position.
Wow, after we won that championship, even Kareem kind of like, okay, he knew Magic was going to be our leader.
He's our new guy. He was Kareem and Magic put together.
We did start winning championships. We just wanted to play good basketball, but once we won that championship, that changed the whole dynamic of what Laker basketball was about.
The first piece of merchandise I want to show you is my Lakers championship trophy to match my tattoo. It has the Lakers across the top of the ball because we own this motherfucker.
When the Lakers win the championship, this city has a different glow to it. From the fan standpoint, and bringing in the championship, where everybody thought, here in LA at least, that it was going to be very hard to do without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Irvin Magic Johnson went in there and delivered one of the most memorable games I've ever seen in my life. I mean, everybody was
You know, every once in a while, an athlete comes along who brings new life and energy to a team and a sport. Here's the rookie sensation, Irvin Magic Johnson.
At only 20 years old, Irvin Magic Johnson has not only captivated the city of Los Angeles, but has boosted the Lakers' morale along with the team's box office figures.
You're a celebrity in this town.
It was one of those star-studded Hollywood premieres. And towering over stars and admirers alike was Irvin Johnson, known as Magic, a man-child in the promised land.
The instantaneous success, celebrity, endorsements, all of those things, money, came to us quickly in the Magic show.
Magic Johnson, yeah.
Came to Irvin, too.
Who's Irvin Johnson?
Who is Irvin Johnson?
Never heard of.
When you have a name like Magic, you gotta succeed. And so this whole transformation began when Dr. Bush realized the key to everything, Magic Johnson.
And Jerry used to take him with him a lot of places, like his beautiful diamond ring. Here's my big, great basketball player. I want to show him off.
We went to Disneyland, and he saw, this is the Magic Kingdom. And he said, they didn't have to do that.
If you're Dr. Bucks, of course you're going to gravitate to Magic Johnson.
Magic has taken Los Angeles by storm. 8 million that live in the Southern California area idolize this man.
You're making me money. You're elevating my popularity. You're taking this Lakers brand to another level. I'd be a fool not to cultivate a relationship with you.
The Los Angeles Lakers have given him a new contract covering 25 years, far beyond his playing career, for a reported $25 million.
That much? 25 years?
The contract that left the athletic world gasping was the one Magic signed with the Lakers, making him the highest paid professional athlete in the world.
What's this guy? He played, how long has he played? What has he done?
It certainly made headlines, which is the way my dad likes to do things.
There was some chatter about that amongst the players. Just what does this mean? We were all wondering if Irvin was a player or management. When you get a contract like that, you're management. They've adopted you.
I think, there was a little tension. Matter of fact, I'd be lying if I said there was a little tension. There was a lot. It was big. The Laker guys were not happy. Kareem was not happy. And then we get to training camp, and Coach Westhead decided to change all the plays.
I made some changes, and if that caused ruffles with the players, then I can live with that.
The question flying around the fabulous form after Friday night's loss to Phoenix, what's wrong with the Lakers?
We weren't playing right, we weren't utilizing our best asset, which is our ability to run.
Johnson has it with 19 seconds to go.
Every time Magic got the basketball head down, Coach Westhead was on the side. Okay, and run this. And Magic spent most of his time looking over his shoulder.
Paul had his own ideas. Those ideas didn't work out as well for us. So, Magic started complaining.
So we're playing in Utah, and so Utah calls a timeout. And I went to Coach and said, listen, everybody's frustrated because we're not performing well, we're not shooting well, we're not playing well. Coach Westhead turns to me, shut the hell up. And I'm like shocked, like, what?
Yeah, well, so I'll give you my version. Late in the game, at a timeout, he had drifted away. Like, whatever you're saying, it's okay, but I'm not here. Right after the game, we called Irvin into a private room across from the locker room.
And he just started I'm tired of your shit, and I'm tired, and da-da-da-da.
I said, this cannot happen again. He barely said a word, like nodding, like basically, are you finished?
I just can't take it no more, So
it's coming down to me or him.
Last night, after the game, Magic Johnson said he was unable to play for West End any longer and wanted to be traded.
I haven't been happy. I'm not happy. I just, want to get out of the situation.
As soon as we landed, Jerry West and Dr. Buss told me to come in and see them.
Urban talked to Jerry about it because they were so close, and Jerry said, "We'll make a change."
I came back to have a conversation with Jerry Buss and tell him we need to discipline Irvin Magic Johnson right now. So then I go in and see Buss, and he tells me right away, he makes any words.
Paul Westhead had been fired as the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers after the team star, Magic Johnson, said he wanted to be traded.
Dr. Jerry Buss insists he was not playing favorites with his $1 million player.
It really has nothing to do with that.
Buss went on to say that Pat Riley will move from assistant to head coach.
Paul was fired. We were 7-3. We were winning.
Did it ever come down to a situation where you told management either he goes or I go?
No, I never told him no. It was clear he had more power than me. When the media blamed Irvin became a villain.
Fans don't like what they call, coach killers, and Magic got booed.
My first game as a head coach, Irvin was booed heavily when he got on the court. Whew. Man, it was like nobody liked me. Don't speak to him, don't say nothing to him. All of that, man, it's like I didn't have a friend in the world. And every time he got booed, I would say to him, just play harder, just show him, they'll forgive you.
Him and I bonded right away. I said, okay, then I'm going to just have to play great.
When Coach Riley took over, we just went back to emphasizing the fast break, which is our best style of play, and we started winning it.
The Lakers will be proud champions.
And so when we won the title again in 1982, it was electric.
Pat Riley allowed Magic to be Magic. He allowed Magic to institute that Showtime persona.
The Magic has returned. The Lakers' image gleaming again.
Showtime.
I got to go to the Great Western Forum in Inglewood one time before Irvin came to Hollywood. It was a different building. I got to go to the Great Western Forum in Inglewood one time before Irvin came to Hollywood. It was a different building.
Well, there's a difference between chicken shit and chicken salad, you know what I mean? There will never be anything like the atmosphere of the floor.
Showtime at the Forum meant like it was always opening night at the biggest concert. The amount of famous people that would come to the games was jaw-dropping and awe-inspiring.
And you had a great owner, Dr. Buss, who consciously created this spectacle. There may not be another sports franchise owner who outwardly enjoys his lifestyle more than Jerry Buss.
The atmosphere that he wanted to create, it was really melding of sports and entertainment.
His whole thing was changing things. And he felt there had to be more besides us playing against our opponent. Dancing Barry, who thinks of that, you know? If we got the net going like this.
When the team took a timeout, he wanted a dance team to entertain him, and he named one the Laker Girls. I started my whole career becoming a Laker girl. Here was this brand new team of dancers, and I turned these girls into a really fierce dance squad. Everyone was Jeff Nicholson was one of the most avid ones. Whenever the Laker girls had girls in the party, he'd take out his binoculars. It was all about the best ideas.
Dr. Jerry Buss, he was like the new referee of basketball.
some people say that it's almost as if you made a Faustian deal with the devil because everything seems so perfect. Is this a perfect life?
Well, I certainly would.
It was seducing. It was seductive. It was magical.
You're a winner on the court. Are you also a winner with the ladies?
And how's the sex going?
You thought about what it would be like to play there and get married?
Really, you're doing so much. Just want to come back to that next lesson. Maybe.
I was living in Toledo at the time, working in fashion merchandising, and he lived in Los Angeles. You know, I had this dream, so I wanted to pursue that.
She was doing her thing. She was in her career and doing her thing. And we know how she felt. We knew her how she was. We also know Irvin wasn't really going too far. We knew Irvin knew what he takes.
We were not together, but we were still talking and staying in touch with each other. It was just nice to be able to call and hear a friendly voice on the other end.
You know, I was still in love with him, of course. I kept thinking maybe we'll get back together. And he was like, well, you know, just come on here and visit. I remember the first time I ever went to a game in LA. And I remember sitting in the seat going, I've never seen dresses so tight or so short, heels so high, clothes so see-through. I never saw that before. It was crazy. For the most part, when I came to visit him, we just quietly stayed in his apartment a lot.
Because I work so hard, I don't like to do nothing. You know, I'm done, so you don't have to go out somewhere to have a good time.
You know, when he was playing, he was very intense, you know, being the top player on the Lakers, and they were a very tight-knit unit. Pat Riley's rules were that the family couldn't travel with the team during the playoffs or during championships. The players would get fined if one of their wives were caught on the road with him.
Pat told me that, you know, with 12 plus 2 plus 1, with 12 players, 2 coaches, and me. Everyone else is a peripheral thing who could distract you from your job. That included your family. You take responsibility for your greatness by making sure that these things aren't going to get in the way.
I don't like to bother game days. I'm moving and cranky. So how do I give her all of me when I'm giving basketball? All of it.
That's when I started seeing, like, there was a difference. And basically, from the time he started playing with the Lakers, he had a complete kind of personality. There was magic, and then there was Irvin. I met Irvin. And that's the one that I fell in love with, and that's the one I knew.
How do you keep those feelings like that?
Well, yeah, maybe so. You know, it's fun being Magic Johnson for 8 months. And it's great being Irvin Johnson for the year.
Every summer, Magic came back to Lansing. His family, his friends, and it was like, you know, man, it's magic, you know? And I never forget Irvin had this gold big, tired armor wall, tinted blue windows, and wow. I looked at Magic Johnson as someone who made it. He used to come from Chicago to hang out, train. I mean, we loved the hoop. We would hoop all day till 2 in the morning, get up, run, work out, hoop some more, get something to eat, take a nap, go hoop some more. I mean, we would just play basketball, and that's what I needed. I needed this
Hello.
Love the game as much as I did. At guard, 6'1", 185.
Hello.
He ends up getting
Hello, hello. Was one of the greatest point guards to ever play this game.
Coming into the league, my team.
Hello.
And this team was on top. Unfortunately,
Hello.
Magic was so good. Seeing how they did things in the championship world of the NBA. And also, as friends, as brothers, those Midwest values that people talk about, that trust, it's like your word really is like your bond, like my word, okay, we good. That was there.
Hello.
We both needed each other because he's the only one to understand what I was going through. I'm the only one to understand him at the same time too.
When you talk about black men and black boys in America, in the game of basketball, that was the pathway out. And Irvin and I just, we had a pretty good understanding of each other.
Sexton High School. It was right in the black community on the west side. I knew all the players because I played against them since I was a young kid. And I wanted to be a Sexton big red.
Sexton was dominant because that's all we knew. Growing up was Sexton High School. And knowing all those players, because a lot of them played lived in our neighborhood.
The gym was packed. The band was da. And we were like, I want to come out into that music, the kids coming up. You want them to go to that neighborhood school to keep that tradition going. I mean, I was waiting for my turn. It was my turn. And all of a sudden they said, no, you can't go up. You can't walk 10, 15 minutes from your house. You got to get bused across town to go to elementary school.
And you're not enough Supreme Court today affirmed the principle of busing school children to be segregated schools.
The busing issue that has emerged even in upwards pro and con across the country is perhaps nowhere more dramatically present than here in Michigan.
I was so mad, I cried for 2-3 straight weeks that I now had to catch a bus across town to a school that wasn't known for basketball.
That bus would pull up and rocks and sticks at our bus. They didn't want to feel calling his name. That's the attitude for the bus.
When I got to Everett, the fights were starting right day one.
There's a couple kids on the basketball team, kids don't really accept this as well as I thought they should.
That third week, our principal was waiting for the bus as we pulled up. He just said, Irvin Johnson, come to my office. I thought I had gotten into trouble or something. I didn't know what was going on. So he said, listen, you're going to stop the black kids from fighting. I said, wait a minute. I'm 15 years old. I just got here. He said, no. They will follow you.
I was just like, I want to fight. I'm going to get my respect. He did it the other way. He did it on the basketball.
It is the Boston Celtics and Larry Bird against Magic Johnson and the Los Angeles Lakers. It is a confrontation that basketball fans have been waiting a long time for. The NBA, and now it is here.
The attitude of the country was the Lakers were Black America's team, and the Celtics were White America's team.
My advice to the Lakers is beware, watch out.
You just can't get beaten. I'm a black guy. You just can't get beaten in your life. I hate it. Well, where did this come from? Where did it come from? It came from people having bricks thrown through their windows. It came from the busing footage you see in the late 60s and early 70s. It came from all that shit.
I knew I had that anger that he built up in me for the Celtics. So I was ready to go.
And Paul McAdoo gave me a bounce next to him.
Malcolm
who speaks the ballad of the bullet. That's the truth. And one of the other guys will.
Well, what you and I have got to do is get involved. You and I have to be like this breathing down their throat. Every time they look over their shoulder, we want them to see us.
Bob McAfee rebelled against racism, and he wanted you to be proud that you were black and stand up for other black athletes, just like all those before you. And he stayed on me about it. He said, Irvin, you're in such a unique position. Everything that you do, you've got to be a proud black man. On top of that,
Damn it, I was playing Larry Bird. He was put up by the nigger of the white savior.
and all the fans and everybody that worked for the Laker organization reminded us that we hadn't beat the Celtics ever in the NBA Finals. So, you know, you got all this pressure.
Already in the background, they're starting to chant, beat LA, beat LA.
The buzz and electricity flowing in the room is as high as I've ever seen.
And I wanted to shut the crowd up. I wanted to beat them in Boston Garden. I wanted to beat Larry Bird in Boston Garden.
Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, they are battling it out. It's Johnson so far, and he continues to be so. That's for all Los Angeles so far.
In Boston, we won that first game, and we said, okay, we know we can beat this team.
The Celtics will be in white with the Kelly green, and the Lakers in their typical Dora blue with gold. Cooper, the best place walks down, and they are winning. The Celtics at this point off the Boston Garden.
We were about ready to be two to go up.
I think it was about 10 seconds to go.
You watch the clock at the lower part of your swing. They're looking for the lead. Magic Johnson keeps looking inside.
I was the guy guarding. I'm like, what's this fucking guy doing? I'm looking at the clock, I'm looking at him. He's just dribbling.
We didn't get a shot off. And we ended up losing that game in overtime, a game that we should have won.